Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another uplifting episode of Lucy's Inspiring Stories. I'm so glad you're here with us today because the woman you're about to meet is someone who doesn't just teach confidence, she awakens it. Our guest, Marla Press, has spent decades helping leaders, entrepreneurs, and everyday people step into the truest, most magnetic version of themselves. Maria is the founder of Speakers on Fire Academy. She is a master of presence, and we're going to talk about that, and a creative force who believes that everything in life, our careers, our voice, our purpose, is up for grabs when we choose to claim it. And what I love the most about Marla is that she brings this beautiful blend of psychology, storytelling, energy, and playfulness into her work. Now, Marie can take someone who's been hiding in the shadows and help them shine in a way that they never have before. So, this evening's conversation is not just about public speaking, it's about how to show up in your life with more courage, more connection, and more fire. So, settle in, let's take a breath and get ready because this one is going to light something up inside you. Marla, welcome.
Thank you so much for that introduction. That was like pizzazz, man. That was intense. That was wonderful. Like, oh, I want to do that.
I'm so excited to have you here. Where are you joining us from, by the way?
I live in a town that's actually called Superior, Colorado.
Okay, great. So it's a little cold there. I'm in Mexico and I'm down the beach, and I'm hoping that our connections are going to be good tonight. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Marla, let's start with you. Now, you've reinvented yourself more than once. You've gone from psychology to dental hygiene to writing to speaking. What was the quiet kind of turning point when you realized I meant to teach presence and confidence?
Yeah, so that my life was quite the zigzag, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As a lot of you out there, it's the same thing, right? You don't just go from I want to be an astronaut to being an astronaut, right? There's a lot in between that happens.
Exactly.
And for me, I grew up in musical theater. So being on stages was always my jam. I love performing. I was in dance companies. I wrote speeches whenever possible. I volunteered. Yeah, I want to do the speech. So that was just something that was in my veins since I was 9 years old. And I also wanted to be a writer. I love writing. And I did a lot of writing as a young person. But I'm also fascinated with people's behavior and why we do what we do. So I went into psychology for my career in my college days and studied a lot of psychology. And that works in every area of our lives. It's helpful to know our psychology and other psychology. I use that a lot in my speaker coaching. And the interesting, so yeah, I did go to dental hygiene school, got a degree in dental hygiene because my mom was a hygienist. My stepfather, who I grew up with, was a dentist. And it was something I said, well, I can do it part-time and then pursue all these other things. So I did therapy for people, some very serious issues that I help people with, eating disorders and sexual abuse and very, very serious issues that people had that I helped them with a lot. And I wrote books on the side and I did speaking on the side. I did all kinds of things on the side as I was paying the bills and raising my kids by myself.
It all came very naturally to you, didn't it? Yeah. That is so interesting. I mean, first of all, dental hygiene is I can't think of anything. I mean, being in people's mouths, but you couldn't be any closer to them or them being any more vulnerable for sure.
It is a very vulnerable. Well, that's why they have a high suicide rate too, hygienists and dentists, because it is so vulnerable. And people, don't like going to the surprise. They don't like going to the dentist.
I
So
don't. I don't.
it
In
was
fact,
really
when I
challenging.
leave here, I have a dental appointment, and so yeah. Anyway, we won't go there. But you've said that everything in life is up for grabs. Can you share maybe a moment in your journey when that belief completely changed the direction of your life?
Yeah, I think this is so important because so many times we limit ourselves. And I
Hmm.
was that way too. I was like, what do I really want to do? And I can't do it all. And what can I do now? And will I be successful? All those things that, are sort of
Right.
limiting beliefs and how we try to limit ourselves. And yet the truth is we don't know what the future brings. So why not be positive, right? It may not turn out well, but some things you don't think are going to turn out well turn out fantastic. There's the
Exactly.
silver linings, there's the special gifts we get, even when things don't seem so great. And so everything really is up for grabs, and you have the choice to
Hmm.
choose what you want your life to be and make it happen. It's a
Yeah,
choice.
that is, that is such a huge thought. I remember when I had, when that came to me, I had a choice. Everything in life was my choice. It was like a tremendous, like, it was more than an aha moment. It was like I was being born again. It's like, oh my God, you mean I have a choice? I can choose whatever I want, and I can be the creator of my destiny. You mean, you know? Oh my God,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is a great moment, and a lot of people are still, a lot of people go to their graves not even knowing that.
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah, it's sad but true.
It's sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the real pivotal point though in my what that really shifted my career. So I knew I wanted to go into coaching and helping people and use my psychology degree and also use all my experience on stage.
Right.
And I had a mentor, I was speaking and I had a mentor tell me, "You're shut down. You're not
Mm.
open to the audience, and that is why you're not getting the clients that you want." Because I was also a practice management consultant, so I was a practice management coach basically for
Right.
medical practices, and so I spoke around the country, and I was entertaining, and I had lots of energy, and I had confidence on stage, but I wasn't getting clients, and that's because I had this wall up. I didn't know how to receive the audience and how to energetically be open. So I built trust. And so they wanted to work with me.
How did you change that? I mean, for somebody to tell you that, I mean, didn't you go into a funk and say, "Oh my God, what do I do now? How do I do that?" I mean, did that person become your coach?
Yes. Yes. So that's when, I knew that I had a wall up socially to some degree
Hmm.
because of childhood trauma. It just was always there. However,
Right.
I didn't realize how much it was playing a role in my career. And having it pointed out like that, and then I studied with her for 4 years on the art of presence, and it's this presence that makes us be authentic and connect with people and build trust, and that made all the difference in how my speaking just changed from that time on.
I understand the word presence, and I'm sure the audience understands it, but what do you mean by a
Yeah.
presence? Is it our personality? Is it what do you mean by that? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, it's funny because it's, authentic and presence are kind of overused words now, and people
They
don't
are,
really know
yeah.
what they mean. They really don't. So to me, there's mindfulness, which is not thinking about the past, not thinking about
Being
the
in the moment.
future, but
Yeah.
being in the moment. But that's mindfulness. Presence
Yes.
takes it a step further. So it's getting out of your thinking critical mind altogether and bringing
Hmm.
that energy into your whole body. And where I help people focus is on the gut and the heart. And having those two areas of energy, because they're so powerful, be really connected, and then not projecting, but radiating out for people. And
Right.
we live in that space versus living in our cluttered minds where
And
it's our to-do list and how we're critical and all the information we're bombarded with. And it's not the authentic energy that really connects to people. And if you communicate from this place, then you have presence. And
are there
people,
other tools that people can? I'm sure in your Speakers on Fire, you have tools to help people do that. Can you mention one or two, or how you go about bringing that about?
yeah, because you can't intellectualize about it. I can't
No,
say,
you
here are the
can't.
5 steps. Now you
Of
do
course
them and
you
you'll be great. We can't do that. It takes practice, number
can. Yeah.
one. And number two, the way I do it is mostly through a visualization. So I get
Okay.
people to close their eyes and
Mhm.
go through taking their energy and experiencing what it feels like to have your energy just in your head, and then have your energy come into your, what I call home space. I called it gut, but gut's not a very pretty word. So I call it
But
home.
everybody gets it.
Yeah.
Everybody gets it.
Yeah. It's in your, we talk about having feelings. That I have a gut feeling, right? And
Yeah.
there's more serotonin in your gut than there is in your brain, they find out. So it's really, really a powerful, powerful part of you.
Right.
And then your heart, we know how powerful the heart is. So
Right.
to connect those two together and have the experience that I take you to, then you really know what it's like, and you can revisit that and get into it yourself going forward once you practice it.
Wow. So it's a matter of practicing. It's not, like yourself, you had to practice, right?
Yeah.
You just don't step out and become present. Your clients describe you as someone who helps them step out of performance mode and into presence. So that's the presence that you're talking about. You know, but how did you discover that power? I mean, how how did it feel? I mean, how does one discover the presence? I'm trying to get a hold of this here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the visualization, and when
Yes.
people allow it, so I use that word a lot, you have to
Okay.
allow it. And because we resist, right? We resist being in our bodies. There actually is a lot of messages in our body that we're not always conscious of. And then there's, the body image issues. And then there's I mean, science has proved this, that psychology has proved this, that there are stored memories in our bodies. And that's sometimes why people have a backache, because they haven't dealt with their past, or they have, tension in their shoulders because of that. So we store memories in there, and we resist getting in there because we're a little afraid of what we're going to find out. But when you
Right.
allow it, when you let yourself go through this practice with me, then I can take people in like 7 minutes, and they can have that presence and be there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it
That's
doesn't take
unbelievable.
long. Sometimes 5 minutes. Doesn't take that long. Yeah, but
Yeah.
getting
So
there
so
yourself is another thing. So that's why you need to practice, so you can do it pretty quickly when you need to.
uh-huh. So you're known for your creativity for sure, especially your famous rubber chickens. What inspired that playful approach, and what does humor on and how does humor unlock in a speaker really?
Yeah, it's
The rubber chickens,
for
so
people that don't know. Let's see if I have it really handy. It's across the room. Yeah, I use rubber chickens because it always makes people laugh. And so this is when I speak in
you're
person, and they squeeze them. They're like a dog toy that makes a crazy sound. It's just weird,
mhm.
and people can't help but laugh. And I use it to talk about, people are afraid to be on video. They're afraid to be on camera. They're
Yeah.
chicken to start speaking. And if you can laugh and release that fear, then it just helps everything. But yeah, I mean, we want people to feel. So one of my other favorite quotes is from Maya Angelou. People will not remember as much what you say or do, but they remember how you make them feel.
Right.
And we think, oh, so I have to do my trauma story and have people cry. Well, sometimes that's appropriate, but laughter is a feeling. You feel laughter when you're laughing. And it is so powerful. If you can make people laugh as a speaker, then they're going to follow you. They're going to want more of you. And these days, I got to say, we need a lot more laughter in our lives.
Oh my God. You're
Yeah,
so right.
yeah,
Oh my God.
absolutely. People are pretty tense. So this is so powerful as a speaker. And people think, well, I'm not a comedian. Well, I can't tell a joke for the life of me, I swear, but I can add fun into it. Or I can, make something playful with chickens, or with talking about an experience I had. It doesn't have to be jokes, just fun and lightness. And the more serious your topic is, if your topic is about grief, for example, people think, oh, it's not a funny topic. But the more serious your topic is, the more you need to help people to laugh. You want them to feel the pain, but then you bring them to joy and laughter so they feel the hope.
Right. Oh wow, that has to be really powerful. I mean, there's so many leaders that kind of struggle with the imposter syndrome. Sometimes I do. Even after years of success. I mean, I hear Tony Robbins talk about that, Dean Graziosi. What's one internal shift that perhaps can help someone move from self-doubt to standing ovation confidence?
Yes. You're so right. There's so many people. I've worked with executives that are winning big awards, that have done amazing careers, and there's still a little imposter syndrome that happens when they have to go accept that award. It's very, very common, and certainly a lot of people starting out think, well, why is my message important? Who am I to be able to tell people that? And a couple things that I help people with. One is a visualization, again, because so much of my coaching is experiential exercises. That's how people transform instead of just through intellect and knowledge. The other thing is, here's a quick thing you can just tell yourself, I know at least one thing that they don't know that they'll be interested in. It's not like you have to be an expert in everything. No. It's not like you have to be better than everybody else to be the authority in a topic, but at least one thing, and probably a bunch of things that your audience doesn't know, and that you have value because of that.
Absolutely. It's whenever I go to a workshop or a summit, or, I always think, well, if I can get one thing out of this, it's a big win. And, people don't think that way. I mean, because I used to think, oh, well, I'm paying all this money. I'm hoping that I'm going to get this, this, and this, and this. No, be there, be present. And if there's one thing that you can come away with, that you can learn, that can help you in your business, then wow, that's big. People don't, they don't understand that, I think,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Wow. You talked about your career zigzagging, but it's been done in with humor and in a beautiful way. Looking back, was there a detour that you took that kind of turned to be, the right direction, the divine direction, if you want to call it that?
Yeah, I mean, the detour was definitely dental hygiene. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And, the beauty of that was, because I'm a huge introvert. That is my nature. It's still my nature. Nobody thinks of me as an introvert, but I am.
No.
And I was very, not shy, but just quiet and observant more than I was. I never had to be the center of attention. I was more the sit back and analyze everything and observe everything. And in dental hygiene, one thing it really helped me with was to be very outgoing. because that's how I was so good at what I did. It wasn't just clinically. In a dental office, we talked about people are afraid, and they come in
Yeah.
there. So many people are
You had
afraid.
to put them in, yes.
You know, public speaking is the biggest fear. Dentistry is right under that. Then death
I
is
believe it.
third, I think. Death is third. So, I mean,
And you're right
it's
in
been
the
that way
middle.
for decades. But
Wow.
so part of my job was, number one, to, you know, make people want to come back, right? And number two is to help people to relax and feel good about what was about to happen. And so in my psychology background, because I got my degree in psychology first and did therapy for people first,
Right.
that was really helpful. But also just learning to be more outgoing and, you know, really, you know, always, you know, smiling and you know, really having a positive outlook, which is pretty natural for me anyway. But it helped me to even make that more expanded. And then it also helped me, like I said, with working part-time and being able to, you know, write books and do therapy on the side and do speeches and start building my speaking career and all the other things that I've accomplished. So it was, you know, it's something that I thought I'll do for a year or two. I don't want to do this. This isn't what I want to do. Like, if it weren't for my parents being that, I probably never would have thought of even choosing it. And it's something that, you know, it was very repetitive. It didn't use my intelligence. It didn't use my creativity. You know, I graduated high school early. I went to school for psychology and philosophy. When I applied to dental hygiene school, they said, "Oh my gosh, you score better than all the dental students that are applying. Come to dental school. We want you in our dental school." And I said, "Oh, no, thanks. I'm just going to do this for a little bit," you know. And then
And
decades
then
later,
29 years later, that was 29 years, right, of dental hygienist?
I did it for 40 years.
Oh, 40 years. Oh,
40 years. Yes.
wow.
Yes. So, yeah,
Holy God.
I've been
You
at the,
really, I mean, you really get to know people 40 years into doing something like that for sure. Oh my God. I wanted to, you know, um, you help speakers connect deeply with their audience, and you know, you don't want them just to impress them, but what's one mistake that you see that even really good speakers make that blocks true, you know, true connection?
yes. Oh, that is a great question. And
Mhm.
I love this because it's so important. The biggest mistake people make, and especially more experienced speakers,
Right.
is they get in performance mode. And I used to do this. It's, you know, they're almost throwing it at you. They're almost projecting onto you. And even though they can be charismatic, they can be
Hmm.
interesting, they don't build trust and they don't get clients because it's not natural. And even though consciously we might think, oh, they're a great speaker, subconsciously we feel like, but we don't want to work with them. And that's what happens. And sometimes it's just I mean, there's the people that are way over the top
Right.
performing and you don't feel like they're real, but there's a lot of people that are in that area where they're just a little bit too much in performance mode and they still don't build that trust and they don't realize how much their energy, it's all about the energy. It's the tone of voice, but it's
Right.
mostly the energy, and they don't realize how much that is turning people off. And I tell people, you need that entertainment factor, especially these days. You want to stand out. You have to be entertaining, but you also have to be authentic and raw and real and connecting and relatable. And they're almost opposites.
Well,
It's like, well, can I do them both at the same time? So what I help people do is find the balance, the best balance for you. It's not the same for everybody. Some
mhm.
people are going to be very little entertaining, but at least they have some of that. And other people are going to be mostly that, but then they have to add in this connection factor, the authentic presence factor.
Well, you know, it's no wonder that people are afraid of public speaking. You know, if you have to be all those things. I mean, there is an art to this presence for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's
You
an
know, I
art and a
do even
science.
call it the art of presence. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
wow,
And what I've
that
been,
is amazing.
yeah, what I've been
Go ahead.
focusing on too, a lot recently. So if you look me up, you'll find some of this, especially on LinkedIn. Now I'm writing articles and a lot of things, is expressive intelligence. And I coined that term, I'm trademarking that term, because it absolutely tells exactly what I've been helping people with for years. And there's the personal relationship part of that expressive intelligence, and then there's the career part, the public speaking part. The public speaking part is so many speakers. This is the other mistake people make. They get on stage and they want to just seem like they're the expert, they're confident, they're in control, and they're just not themselves. And they're not quirky, and they're not vulnerable, and they're not personable. They're just, good teachers and good entertainers, but they're not expressing all parts of themselves. And
the vulnerability is really important.
Yeah, some people need to be more vulnerable. Some people need to be more serious and more authoritative and even a little bossy. There's certain things that it's not about not being who you are. It's about making sure you're not suppressing any parts of yourself, because you're probably a little bossy with your kids sometimes, or with your partner. So it's not like you don't have that in you, but what do you subdue when you get on stage because you want to be liked? People want so badly
the
to
only
be
way
liked. They edit themselves. They
don't like you, they're not going to buy from you, for sure.
Yeah.
And they have to trust you too. And trust and trusting is a big thing, because I mean, I can see where vulnerability would be a big issue, would be an important issue for somebody to be vulnerable, so that people can feel who you are, feel that you, the person who you are. I guess it just takes practice, and it takes coaching.
It does take coaching, because most people have blind spots about their personality. They don't realize what they're subduing. They might be subduing their femininity or masculinity. They might be subduing, like we said, either their humor. Maybe they're afraid to be funny because they're afraid it won't land, that people won't laugh. And so they're afraid of that. But yet that's really a big part of them when they're with their friends or family. So there's a lot of things that people subdue because they think they should. And when they're fully expressed, not only do they connect better to people, but they feel better. And it's just easier to sustain your business when you feel good about what you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So your Speakers on Fire Academy is really changing lives. I mean, that's what you do there. If someone who's listening feels that fire inside, but hasn't stepped on to a stage yet, what's the very first thing they need to, what's the very first spark, so to speak, they need to ignite?
Yeah, I love you're using this language, because I love this language, right? I tell people, I want to get you fired up about what you do, and I want you to fire up your audience so they're excited to work with you. And so it's funny, because, we used to be taught that, do what you love and the money will follow, right? And passion alone doesn't pay the bills. However, hard work without passion also doesn't sustain and doesn't communicate well to your potential clients. So you really want to, I tell people, have a plan, have a strategy, get some coaching, and also stay in connection with what you're passionate about. Why do you want to help people with whatever you're helping them with? Why are you so passionate about it? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you have to keep reminding yourself about the why. At least that's what I have to do. Sometimes I get up and think, am I making a difference? Why am I doing this? It's a constant question that has to be in one's mind, the big why of something. And I think that a lot of people, I mean, that's where they start their business and they forget. They forget.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much hard work that they, get too tied up in that and forget, why are you doing what you're doing, and why are you so passionate about it, and why is this important?
All right. Exactly. You've been endorsed by legends and collaborated with incredible names such as Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, I think, or another member can you mention, what working with these people has done for you?
Yeah. So as far as Brian Tracy and Tony Robbins, they endorsed one of the books that I'm in.
Okay.
And I wrote some of my own books. I have a book series out there. So I've written a lot of my own books, but I've also been in several compilation books where several
You and I
authors.
are in one. Yes. The Art of
Yes,
Connection.
yes, Art of Connection, yes. And so this was a book that you have to be chosen to be in it. You don't just pay a little bit and get in it. It's
Okay.
a little more difficult to get in it. But the person who developed this book, Jim Britt, worked directly with Tony and
Okay.
Brian. And so that's why speaking they so highly of Jim that they endorsed his book. And then I'm in the book. I was chosen to be in this book. Yeah. But I have worked with a lot of big people, big trainers, even other speaking coaches, because I want to learn everything. And then I take what's best from all these places and put it together. And then my own expertise and my own beliefs and philosophy and just put it all together. And it's like nothing anyone else does. But
It
yes,
becomes
I've learned
marvelous thing. Yeah.
yeah, I've learned from, I said I studied 4 years with the Art of Presence. That was Rachel Jane Groover. And I studied with 2 years with Suzanne Evans. And I tell people if Suzanne Evans and Rachel Jane Groover ever had a baby, it would be me.
That's perfect. That's great. That's great. I love that. Your life coaching blends mindset, energy work, and of course, grounded psychology that we talk so much about. For for someone who's in their head, because so many of us are sometimes, what's one simple technique that can instantly bring them home to their body and their voice?
Yeah. So again, this visualization, I take people through this exercise that takes, depending on how I do it, 5 to 10 or so minutes. We can go a little bit longer. That's the best way. But if you just want a quickie way to just get out of your head quickly, focus on your feet. Because most of the time we have no clue what our feet are doing, right? We're at least from here up, if not from here up.
Right.
And so focus on
I'm
your
thinking,
feet.
what am I feet doing now? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like have your feet feel firmly on the ground and really sink into the ground. And so it's a grounding exercise. That's the quickie version of what I call the home space exercise. But to get grounded, you first bring your attention down to your feet. So it's bringing it all the way through your body down to your feet. Ground them, sink into it, have feet about shoulder width apart so they're not crossed or, your one hip is way out. Try and be somewhat stable in that and just sink into it, breathe into it. And if you can, I wouldn't say go to the heart. I'd say go right to that home space, which is your lower abdomen, a couple inches below your navel, and a little to the back of your body. And just feel the energy in there. And if you just do those steps, feel your feet ground, get into that home space, it works wonders.
Yeah, it really kind of grounds you for sure. I'm thinking about it right now. It's grounding me.
Yes, yeah.
So,
We're not aware how our energy is just way up there and getting dispersed everywhere and diffused. We're not even aware of it most of the time because it's our natural state
right,
these days. Yeah.
exactly. Well, because I mean, with all intent, sometimes you just go to your head. You just got to get out of there, and that's a good thing to remember. Think about your feet. Think about where they are. Be grounded, and that helps. And then the breath, right?
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course,
Absolutely.
breath. So, do you work a lot with breathing exercises at all?
I work a lot with energy and visualizations. So just in the Art of Presence alone, which I am certified at the highest level to teach, there's 45 practices in that alone. And then I've made up a bunch of my own practices. So I do that. And there can be breathing within that. But there's other people that just focus on breathing techniques. And that's not a focus of mine. Yeah. I find this other, what I do is really, really powerful. Yeah. But breathing exercises are good.
So you've guided, I know you've guided hundreds of speakers toward finding their voice. What's the one truth about confidence, communication, or impact that you wish every person, every speaker or not, could really fully embrace?
Yes. What a wonderful question. I'd say that when you're in this home space, it's called home space for a reason. And it is the essence of who you are. And when you're in the essence of who you are, it's not what you've done. It's not how you self-identify. It's not even all the good things you've done. It's the essence of who you are. And some people might even, want to go into something more spiritual and think of it as your soul. However you want to think of it, I just call it where you're truly home in this space. And when you can connect to that in yourself, it's like all your worries and all this nonsense goes away because you know how pure and how perfect, if you want to use that word, it's not the greatest word, but how pure and how perfect your essence is and you are. And all of us have strengths and weaknesses. All of us have gifts to share. And you're one of those people.
I want to take a moment and just talk to my audience. I want to point out the CTA buttons, they're call to action buttons. So if you'd like to connect with Marla, if you click the middle button where it says connect with Marla, it will take you to her LinkedIn page, and where you can message her, connect with her. And if you're interested in her Speakers on Fire website, the bottom call to action button will take you to her website and all of the work that you offer. People like to join you, certainly with the art of presence. Is there anything that you would like to say to the audience that perhaps we haven't covered? Let me leave it.
So two things. One is, we're talking about speaking in public speaking, and if you have a business, you got to be a public speaker. That's the best way to
be out there.
However, what I really want to encourage all of you that are listening, speak your truth. So I didn't mention the other part of expressive intelligence is in every relationship, every conversation. Don't just speak for approval. Speak your full truth, how you really think and feel, and learn how to speak it so that it's well received. And it'll change everything in your life. It makes life so much more wonderful. And use this whether you're speaking on a stage, social media, or just talking to a partner or a coworker. It's really important to speak your truth. And then I'd say, my Speakers on Fire Academy website, I'm in the process of, I should say, updating it. I don't have anything about expressive intelligence there yet. I have another website to book me as a speaker that also has a lot of information about me called bookmarlapress.com. And then what I really encourage you to do is to set up what I call a hot or not speaker eval, where I will give you attention and you can bring any part of your talk, your message. It could be something personal. It can be your storytelling, whatever you want to bring, and we will see what needs more spark.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your heart and your wisdom and your spark with us tonight. Listening to you is like being handed permission to show up fully, I think, as ourselves. So to our beautiful audience, if something inside you woke up during this conversation, follow that nudge and don't let the moment pass. Whether it's stepping onto a stage, speaking with more confidence, or simply wanting to be more present and powerful in your everyday life, Marla has tools that can help you rise. So Marla mentioned marlapress.com. You can join her on Speakers on Fire Academy. You'll get more information there, or take up her complimentary, coaching session that you also offer, right, Marla?
Yeah, that's speakwithmarla.com, goes right to my calendar, and I can't wait to talk with you.
Okay, so this might be the spark that changes everything, folks. So thank you for spending this time with us, Marla. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to the audience, thank you for being part of these stories that lift all of us up. And as always, remember, it's never too late to shine.
Thank you, Lucy. You are amazing. Thank you for hosting me today and for letting me share with your audience.
Thank you very much. You're very welcome. It's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.